Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone around the globe. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Critical Eye with Dr. Gibran. We have a very wonderful guest here today, but before that, I'd like to talk to you a bit. Are you someone who's looking to establish your career in the Middle East or in the Arab world? Are you someone who is confused, who does not understand, who lacks the confidence to pursue their greatest desires, their greatest ambitions, their greatest goals? So this is a session worth watching. And today, the guest that we have has a lot of long introduction, but I'll try to keep it precise. And I'm so happy that she's here with us. I think it's going to be wonderful. She is the innovation and transformation strategist. She is a consultant and a DEI consultant. She's the executive director for Tawazun, her own company. She's the founder of that, and she's author of the best-selling book Seeds of Change. Without further ado, I'd like to jump back to my guest. Thank you, Hannah, for being on the show. Thank you so much for taking out the time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for
Okay, so
hosting.
Hannah. Okay, so Hannah, thank you for being here, and I'm a bit more excited because a lot of people since the latest 1.5 year, a lot of people from Asia are and even from the Western world are flying towards the Middle East because they feel that there's a lot of opportunities there in terms of entrepreneurship, self-employment, even employment itself. So. Coming back to that, you have a company which is pretty much named Tawazun, which means balance. And
Mhm.
then you are a person with ambition that wants to, create you wants to promote humanization within the employment and the entrepreneurship sector. Then you've also worked so hard in, creating an image for women, working women in the Arab world. So
Mhm.
my first question: what made you come from New York to Dubai, and then establish yourself in the Middle East?
Okay. Thank you again for having me. Well, everybody has a journey of multiple stops, and mine was meant to be from my native Morocco. So I was born in Casablanca, and I finished my undergraduate studies there, and then I flew to New York to continue my higher education, my master's degree, my MBA, and started my work career there in different industries. What brought me to the Middle East, well, to Dubai actually, because every time somebody asks me, I say I went to Dubai because Dubai is a global city. It's very diverse. It's very similar to the fast pace of New York City. It presents a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, for me, as somebody who celebrates their identity, it was the best of both worlds. So it gave me what New York was giving me as opportunity, fast paced, and at the same time, I could celebrate my roots and my identity as an Arab and Muslim. So when I came in the early 2000, 2004, 2005, I came to Dubai. I was just visiting, and I received an offer, and I thought, why not? Let me try. I'm all about, when we are entrepreneurs, we're more like adventurers, and we are all about trying new things and trying new challenges, and moving from place to place is the best way to experience that adventure. And I was called because when I was in New York City, I was working as a franchise consultant. So I was working on entrepreneurs who had ideas or who wanted to start a business and wanted to identify what kind of established franchise concept could be best suited for them. So that helped me find an opportunity here because I started working with a diversified regional group who had just bought a portfolio of franchises from Europe and the US and needed to establish them across. So that's what brought me to Dubai, actually. Yeah.
So, okay, so you've mentioned that how you came to Dubai, but once you were here and once you accepted that job, what were the from based on your experience,
Mhm.
what were the major obstacles that or some or major challenges rather for you that you had to cater while you were there in order for you to be able to succeed in your career? We're not talking about the ethical boundaries or something like that, but more like a professional level challenges. What did you face?
Sure. Well, I'm just talking to you about what brought me here before my entrepreneurial journey, so I can talk about my entrepreneurial journey. later. But I came here, I had a job when I came here. I was working for a job, then I chose to go into entrepreneurial journey. Challenges, I think they're the same challenges when you move from a country to another, city to another. You need to get used to the place, the rules, regulations, the policies, the people, the way of doing things. So it's really just a matter of managing that change. And we as human beings, we are wired to resist change sometimes. So it's that adaptation period. That was the usual challenge, and I see them as opportunity of growth, because when you go through challenges, you discover new parts of yourself that need to grow so that you can adapt to different place and different way of doing things. Those were the main challenges for me, to really get to know how things are done here, to learn. I mean, the biggest challenge was summer because the weather was completely different. But then again, it's just a matter of acclimation and adaptation.
So, if I'm correct, so one of the foremost things for someone who has to travel across the seas and get themselves settled in a new place is the openness to adaptability to and overcoming the fear of change is something that will help them get through. As far as I understand from what you said, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
what else?
Sorry, I didn't
What
get.
else?
What else?
What else do you think?
Is to be able to ask for help and support, because sometimes we think that we can do everything on our own, and we just assume that nobody would help. So it's important to know what doors to knock, and to just, be humble enough to ask people who were there before, who were here or there, whatever place you go to before you, people who came before you and who went to the same journey. Now, in a place as diverse as Dubai, for example, or everywhere in the world now, people are so mobile. You could find your own community, or people who speak the same language, or where you have affinity. Could be ethnic affinity, religious affinity, whatever that is. That's the closest step to knocking that door, asking people for guidance. Because sometimes we just assume that, no, I'm on my own, nobody's going to help me. Even the people, the local people in every country, they're so open to welcoming the foreigners or people who will come to reside in their place. So be curious. This is what I always say. Be curious rather than judgmental. Challenge your assumptions, because we come with assumptions about people, about places, about the ways that are done there. So always advise everyone to cultivate curiosity about others. Ask questions. If you have an assumption, something you heard in the media or something you heard from somebody else, challenge that and say, I'm here to experience things firsthand. Let me talk to these people and make my own opinion about who they are. Not everybody is the same. So that helped me a lot, being open, being culturally agile. And I think that's something that I'm blessed with. I'm very open to diverse people. I'm very culturally agile. I adapt. I don't judge anybody. If everybody's different, I try to question and ask. And as I said, be curious to learn. And you never know how many doors can open just when you cultivate that curiosity.
Yeah, wonderful. I think that's a wonderful opinion that you need to be able to adapt, not fear change. Ask without assuming, and I mean, if you don't ask, you will never know if someone's going to help you or if you're going to get the things that you need. So that's wonderful advice for anyone who's coming in, because I think that's one of the main reasons that people even don't even take the step ahead. So take the step. Take the risk. Another thing, Hannah, I mean, you are obviously a native Arabic speaker, and apart from these questions, do you think having Arabic as your native language, or not even native, if someone who knows how to speak Arabic, could be another game changer for them in the Arab world, or it's not something, it's not of a big deal?
You see, when we say the Arab world, it's 22 countries. So we have to be very specific. And the Arab.
Let's come to maybe UAE.
Yes, the UAE is very different, completely different, because it's a very cosmopolitan place. The very nature of the UAE, since it started, it's been welcoming foreigners, and has welcomed residents from abroad that have contributed to the growth of it. And so it's very, very different when you come to the UAE. I would say yes, for me it was. maybe at the time I came, yes, it was very helpful, of course, because at the end of the day, the UAE stands for United Arab Emirates. So Arab, the country is Arab. Arabic is the main language. So definitely, it made things easier, especially when you go, or at the time, at least when we used to go to. Government institutions and authorities, it makes it easier to communicate in Arabic. However, it's not really a must, especially the way the country has grown. It's very diverse, very cosmopolitan, very acceptant, and everybody speaks English. And again, people are very helpful. If you don't, then you can find someone who speaks Arabic who can help you around and help you get some answers that are, I'm sorry, some questions that might be unanswered unless you speak Arabic. It's a plus, but not really a necessity.
Yeah, fine. I think that was. I think that's a very important question because a lot of people want to know this, and once they know this, it might add up to their confidence level when they come in. That okay, if even if we don't know Arabic, we still stand a chance. It's not just being able to speak Arabic; it's what's going to get through. But having being able to speak Arabic is an add-on. It's a plus,
Yes,
obviously an advantage because obviously having a language
yes.
in is the language is the gateway to culture and to heart of any nation. You know.
Absolutely. So see, language makes you connect with others. What I wanted to add is, now with the technology and so many apps and so much advancement, it's very easy to learn languages or to get things translated on the go. So what I wanted to say is that people here appreciate when you make that effort to greet them, for example, in their language. When you learn few, even if you just learn a few words, it breaks the ice and makes that connection easy. So that's what I would advise. And as I said, it's very easy now. So many tools that can help you at least get to the base.
Okay, so Hannah, coming back to the questions, we already understood and established the fact that language could be an add-on, obviously, and can help break ice. Now, coming back to another important thing, I was going through your profile and I saw that you were one of the innovation leaders at Sheikh Maktoum's foundation.
Mhm.
Talk about making a big crack in the market. So, what do you think? How was your experience in that position, and what innovation activities were you did you carry out at that time that helped individuals at that time and maybe in the future?
Sure. Definitely, that was a turning point part of my career because that was technically the last job before I started on my own. And the mandate of the foundation was to really look at the macro level and see what do we need to create more innovative minds? How can we encourage more individuals from the region to start their own businesses and to be creative and not to just copy whatever is outside? So we looked at the motivation for innovation, the skills that are needed, what is missing in the educational system across the region that is not really producing those innovative minds, rather just many of students or youth, they just graduate and then try to look for a stable job and do that job until they retire, and that's it, most of them. So we wanted to change that, and we found that most of it was related to a lot of perceptions, because innovation means you're trying something new. Trying something new means there is a chance, 50-50 chance to fail. And failure is not really accepted in many cultures, because it's not seen as growth, it's not seen as a learning. So what I learned from there is that innovation starts with a mindset and starts with a culture that actually encourages trials and that changes that perception of failure, that it's when you fail at something or trying something, that means you have tried something new, which means that you are advanced than others. And also, failing at something the first time means you have succeeded at finding and what doesn't work. And I always give the example of one historic personality, Thomas Edison. I think everybody listening to us, watching us, would know who Thomas Edison was. And if you don't, if Thomas Edison didn't exist, we wouldn't be connected today, because we owe him the blessing of electricity. So there is a saying Edison said. I did not fail. I succeeded 10,000 times, or I succeeded, sorry, at finding 10,000 ways that didn't work. So imagine if Thomas Edison stopped at the 9,999 trial, he would have never come up with his breakthrough. So, what I'm trying to say is it's all about perception, and it's all about encouraging yourself to try new things. And not every time you're going to start something is going to succeed the same way you have imagined it. So failing the first time means that you have identified what's not working. As long as you are open to see what didn't work, how could you make it better the following time? So this is exactly what we were working on, and then from there we developed programs to help students become more innovators. Remember, one of those programs was with a multinational company, without mentioning names, where we called for concepts from engineering colleges and universities across few Arab countries. And students who had ideas that could fit within the category of products of that multinational were sent for a technical internship, which means at the R&D, at the research and development labs of that multinational that's producing a lot of products that we use daily. So the idea was we want students from early age to start thinking about innovating and including or engaging the private sector as well with the academia to be able to help these ideas come to life. So you have a student that goes after 6 months, comes back, he goes with, or she goes with an idea, comes back with a prototype. And I think that was one of the projects that I'm really, really proud of. And I continued on those footsteps even after I started working on my own, helping organizations and individuals grow innovative minds and grow innovative cultures that enable that.
Right. So, Hannah, you mentioned this was your last job before you set your foot in the entrepreneurial sector. What was the turning point? The moment you realized, now I'm going to go into the entrepreneur side.
The turning point was, like I said, when we did a study and we found that there was a gap in the outcome of the educational institutions and what's needed as competencies at the workplace. And I felt that I was called to be part of the solution to reduce those gaps, to work with individuals, to help them find their passions or to help them look at other avenues than just having to graduate and do the same white collar jobs that everybody looks for. And also, I felt that it's not just the side of the individuals that needed where we needed to work on, but also that environment in organizations that need to be more people centric, needed to be more human centric, to create an environment that can enable these individuals to thrive and to innovate for them and to be creative. So I felt that I had something to work on both sides, to engage multiple stakeholders, to continue with that mission and vision. How can we build balanced careers? How can we build innovative minds that can create, sustain themselves, but also contribute to their communities, to their nations, and to the wider world? And that's the
Right.
mission of Humanizing Business. That's the mission that I work with. And I felt that I would have a wider space to spread that knowledge and to spread that vision if I worked on my own.
So, Hannah, you just mentioned what your concepts are, of course, but for people who might just join us or might watch us later on, or who are planning to come to UAE for establishing their business or maybe freelancing, uh, Tawazun, how do you think people? Do you think there are certain services or certain activities within Tawazun that if people get in touch with you or your company, that they would get a lot of benefit in that sectors? Maybe someone who's planning to establish a business, employment. Could you highlight a few of them so that people would know that this is something that we can reach Hannah out or her company out for?
Of course, absolutely. Actually, Tawazun is the most recent initiative in my company. The company is called Sustain Leadership. Why it's called
Just
Sustain Leadership? Because it helps individuals, businesses of all sizes to sustain their leadership. Because see, today we live in an ever-changing world. You might be the expert at what you do today, and then after 3 4 years, new technologies are coming, new movements in the geopolitical situation, new products, new competition or competitors come, and things change. So it's really about how do you remain relevant and how do you keep honing your skills and your knowledge to find out how you can sustain yourself, how you can sustain your career, how you can sustain your role and your leadership if you are a business. For us, we work with individuals as well as small businesses and startup founders. We have our own incubation programs and acceleration programs that we have collaborated with spaces that are incubating. And sometimes we do these programs online where we walk, where we hold the hand of anybody who has an idea on a journey that we call from eye to eye, from idea to investment ready and even beyond, and anything in between. How do you convert that concept? You just have a concept. We all have ideas, but you might have ideas, but that idea might not be a business opportunity. There's a big difference between an idea and a business opportunity. So first, we help whoever has an idea identify and face the reality that, okay, let's first establish, is this just a great idea that your parents and your friends and your close people will be like, yeah, amazing, genius? Or is it a business opportunity that when you go to market, people are like, yes, this solves a valid problem, this satisfies a valid need, I'm willing to pay money for it? This is when you establish if it. So we help them establish that, and once we establish that, yes, this has a chance, then we start working on the business model, the business plan, who are the customers, who to pitch this idea to, how to price it, how to market it, the whole 9 yards. And even when you go to market, what we call in our jargon, go to market, even after you go to market, it's not the end. Even if you have come up with the most genius idea, competitor can come after a year, copy it, and exceed. That's why we say sustain your leadership. How can you sustain yourself? How do you grow? When you start scaling, you're no longer a founder. You're becoming a CEO of your company. And that needs a different mindset. When you are a founder, it's a different skill set and a mindset. But when you become a true CEO of a company, meaning you have a team, you have policies and processes. That transformation process we go through by helping idea founders or startup founders convert completely to a proper C-level executive that is willing to lead the business and not get attached to their idea, but know that they're building a brand, they're building a company culture. Company cultures have values. So that whole process, how you transform and how you build something that's consistent and solid so that you can sustain it and can maintain that competitive edge above the competitor.
Okay, two really important questions before I jump to the next one, because this is really exciting, and the first one might sound lame to you, but might be really important for the people who are watching it. One is, are your services open for all nationalities, everyone? Two, if you could just briefly explain the financial aspect of this, that someone who's coming up with an idea, it is possible that they might not have the seed money, or they just don't have the enough investment. Is there something that you do to help them out, or they need to have a certain amount of capital before they jump into this?
Well, you see, but that's what we do with our services. We're not investors. We connect. We show them how they can invest. Because the thing is, there are many resources online that they can find about who's investing. But it's how you present your idea, how first you establish. Because this is what I tell everyone I work with. Before, life is too short for you to waste it on something that might or might not work. Of course, nothing is sure, but at least we reduce the probability of failure. But when we walk them through, okay, now what is your idea? Who is it gonna serve? Do your market research. We help them do all of that, build that business model so that they can come up with the conclusion themselves. Yeah, this looks like something that has a chance, because we help them go to the field and make sure that they validate that there is a customer base, that customer base exists. We help them go and talk to real people. We develop the questionnaire with them so that they don't jump and start something. Maybe somebody uses their savings, they use their parents' money, their inheritance, or they borrow and go and jump in the markets like somebody jumping from a plane without a parachute.
Right.
We will be jumping. Entrepreneurs always jump. However, when you work with people like us, we make sure that you are jumping with a parachute. You're not jumping just free on a free jump, and then you can really take a risk and literally break your neck.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Hannah, you said connecting to people, right? And there's a general notion there for startups or new companies or new entrepreneurs that networking is one of the key elements towards success. It's considered one of the key elements. So in UAE, particularly, how do you think is someone, for example, someone who's not been able to get in touch with you? Let's say they just did not find you or someone like you, and they're into this market.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them? How can they establish this network, or at least start digging into this network so that they can actually reach out to people?
If they have a connection to internet, then they have everything happening. There are so many platforms that are all about events and network. There's a calendar, Dubai calendar, for example, in the whole of the UAE. I mean, they can just search events happening or startup events, incubators, or networking events. There are plenty, like across the globe now. It's very, I mean, it's very easy. Whoever says that they cannot meet people, then the fault is on them because you just connect, you just put network, and you'll find daily events happening that go by industry, by interest, by age group, by
Chris.
like
Yeah.
yeah. So it's very very easy um, to network. It's just okay. Finding the places to network is one thing, but knowing how to network is another skill. You might
True.
go to, but then you're just there and feeling shy to talk to people or to ask the right questions or to really talk about what you do so that you can try to find like-minded people or people who could really open doors or help you or be part of your idea, etc. And they say that your network is your net worth. So it's really an asset to have the right network, and it's a skill as well to know how to network.
Well, I think concerning other countries as well, because I keep on traveling as well, and this is one of the
Hmm.
beautiful things about Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that there are a lot of opportunities that will pop up. It's up to you whether you want to capture the moment or not. Just like how you said, you might find out events, but if you are unable to go and talk to someone in the event, then it's pointless. Might as well stay at home, and watch it from virtual. Right. So another aspect is the legal aspect. Do you think it's easy to establish, because a lot of people don't know this, is it easy to establish a small entrepreneurial setup in UAE, or is something a lot of hassle, easy for someone to just go ahead and start it?
It's very easy now. It has since I came here. It has progressed at a very high speed. Now you have a lot of free zones. You have a lot of setup companies that help you. You can just even make sure that you have all your questions answered before even you come here. Some people are opening their companies online. Depends on the activity. Some activities, of course, need a lot of compliance, and some activities are very easy. You can even open your bank account and get your license without even moving from your desk. You just send all the documents and everything, and it's done. The ease of doing business here has been ranked globally that it's one of the best, especially regionally. Very, very easy, less paperwork. It's one of the smartest governments in the world, where we have, I can't remember when was the last time I had to go to a government authority. To be honest, up here,
Oh,
everything from re- from paying my electricity bills to renewing my car registration to my driver license, everything. It's done. So many things are done online. It's very smart. I mean, even I read somewhere that maybe this year we might not even need to hold a passport. We can just walk
the
through.
e-pass, walk through
Yeah,
gates, yes. Yes.
walk. I mean, we are already having the e-gates, but we still have the passport. Now we might not have even a boarding pass or a passport. Just
Oh,
the
wonderful, wonderful.
It's something new, I think, globally. But it's as usual, it always happens first here. But it's a great place to prototype. It's a great place to have so many firsts, and it's a privilege to be here because we're really living in the future.
Perfect,
And
perfect. Yeah, I totally agree. Every time I come to Dubai or land on the Dubai airport, there's something new. The last time
Yeah.
I came in, there was a new immigration point for kids. I think they were below for five below or six below.
Mhm.
They had really beautiful color and variations and everything. That's something that kids get anxious when they land to immigration places, and that's how I saw some kids walking through so happily. They didn't even know they were doing immigrations and everything. And for myself, I remember uh, the last when I went into Dubai, I had to go through the immigration check, but while leaving Dubai, I just had to just use my passport and just walk through. And I was like, hey, this was so hassle free. I was so happy to do that. So it changed. So considering this point, the technology and the advancements in UAE is coming so quickly. For someone who's planning for a business or employment in the next couple of years, what in your mindset is the two or three most important things that they should keep an eye out, or they should remember that this might change by the time they come in, or they should be well prepared for that? Something that would click to you.
Well, things are, I think globally things are changing with every time there are new solutions, new technologies, new regulations, new situations in the region. It's so we can't really predict what could change, but what is sure is that things are gonna keep evolving, and all we could do is always be prepared and be agile and be up to date. So information is there's an open resource now of information, and it's just about always checking and never base anything on old information. Keep updated, keep yourself updated, keep following up what's happening. And if you don't know, ask the right people and reach out. And a lot of people are there that will be willing to answer your questions before you make the move.
Perfect, perfect. So, people, let me just quickly talk to the viewers. I mean, viewers, you understand that there's so much opportunities. Hannah has highlighted a lot of questions that we all of us have. The access to the technology, the access to the legal system, the access to the network, and she's also offered. She's also has this business that's doing a wonderful job offering these things that a lot of us make a mistake without getting prepared, without preparing ourselves. We jump into the market. So Hana services are there. We can reach out to Hana. I'll be leaving a link to Hana's company's contact addresses, so you guys can also reach out to Hana. And if you want to start your business, let us know. And but when you get successful, just get in touch with us and let us know that something from Hana's company got to you. And so coming back to Hana, Hana, tell me about seeds of change,
Yeah.
a bit about that. A lot of people want to know that. I even want to know that. And how's what is the best way to get a hold of it? Is probably through Amazon, but sometimes, like in Pakistan, we don't have Amazon. So
Okay. And yeah, it's on Apple Books, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble, and there's also an ebook on. It's on, yeah. So if you don't have Amazon, means you don't have Kindle. So, but definitely, I can send you more links where you can find it. Seeds of Change is really the brainchild that came to mind after 20 years of experience. Since I graduated, I had 20 years of work experience, and it was all the learning of this diverse experience across countries. Because yes, I call three countries home, but I traveled a lot through my work. My work took me to so many countries, and when you travel, you learn a lot about different cultures, how work is done, how people are treated, how employees are treated. So Seeds came as the answer to the question: how is the future of what is the future of leadership? Things are changing, generations are changing. What used to motivate us as Generation X, I'm from Gen X, is different from what motivates millennials and Gen Z, and now we're talking about Alpha. So if you keep running a business or building an organization, or even yourself as an individual looking for a career with the old ways of doing things, then you might really set yourself for failure. And in a world where things are becoming more and more uncertain, and I use the word VUCA, which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's a very common term. You can search it, you can Google it, and you'll read a lot about it. VUCA. So, in a world that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, how do we succeed? How do we sustain our leadership? How do we not become the Nokias of the world if we are businesses? How do we not become obsolete? Because you could be giants, and that's the perfect example. The Nokia, AOL, Kodak, Thomas Cook, and the list goes on. What happened? They were really giants in their industries. They haven't. They didn't have probably that future foresight of what's happening. They haven't been watching the trends. They didn't see that wave of change coming, and they just drowned. So SEEDS is an acronym that stands for sense, engage, empower, develop, sustain. And it really walks everyone, whether you are a graduate who wants to really identify what are the best career prospects for them, or somebody who has an idea and wants to build a business that could be sustainable, or an established business who want to avoid to be like the ones that you would just mentioned and keep transforming to sustain, or even an NGO or even a government institution that wants to be relevant to their citizens, because at the end of the day everybody's serving somebody. Every entity has customers. Even the government institutions, their customers are the citizens. They need to give them hassle-free services. So today I'm just going to talk about a couple of those letters. And for me, the most important is sense. Sense as in, we can't just keep thinking about the decisions. We can't make sense of data only, because we don't have a lot of data all the time. Things keep changing to when we look back at when the pandemic happened, nobody predicted that. When we look at what's happening around us now in the region, nobody knew that was going to happen. And for whatever it is, we know that a lot of things are not the same anymore. So we need to start cultivating this intelligence that's called sensing, which means we need to trust our intuition sometimes. And leaders or business owners, or even employees or career seekers who will succeed, are the ones who will be able to take risk based on what feels right sometimes. Because if you wait to guarantee the right decision before you take it, and you want to have everything 1 + 1 = 2, you might really be exceed. Somebody might come and then exceed you, or somebody might come and take away that competitive edge that you have. So how do we learn how to sense? And I explained that in the book, Engage, because it's not about just communicating. You need to engage deeply with people that you are serving, whether they're your customers, even if you are working for a company, whether they're your colleagues. How do you engage to build meaningful relationships so that they can help you succeed, and they can help you lead a happy life? Because if we spend 8-9 hours at work, we want to really engage with people, so those 8 and 9 hours are not really stressful all the time. Empower. How do you empower yourself with knowledge? And empower, if you have employees, how do you empower them, not just because you want to be a good leader, but you empower them because you want to delegate them so that they don't have to come back to you all the time to make decisions. Because if they have to keep coming back to you, maybe it will be too late, another competitor will come. So how do we empower others so that we build leaderful organizations, that everybody is a leader on their own, and not having that vertical decision making matrix? And develop, as in continuously develop. Like I said earlier, you could become obsolete if you don't continue. What you know today, what you used to know 20 years, might not be relevant today. So continuously develop as a person, as a leader, as a company, as an organization. Always look at what are the trends, what are the new technologies, how can we always be at the forefront of things. And the last one is sustain. Now that, how do we sustain ourselves? And that's where the balance comes, because at the end of the day, you need to also include the well-being. You can't just be racing all the time. What matters, that you're not a machine, you're a human being. So sustaining yourself comes back to, while seeking this successful life and this successful career, you need to make sure that it doesn't come at the expense of your health, of your mental well-being, of the well-being of your family, your society, your community, etc. So all of these is explained, and that's why I took the analogy of seeds, because how do we plant the right seed of change so that we build good life, good career, good business for us and for generations to come.
Hannah, honestly, for me, I think a lot of people criticize me on that. I'm not big of a reader, but the way you've put this together, the content and how you've described it has compelled me to at least go ahead and open the book and read it, because I feel it's going to be worthwhile reading. And I really urge everyone who's looking for an entrepreneurial mindset or just to succeed in life should go ahead and read this book, because honestly it gave me that feeling that I need to go ahead and just maybe I will find something that will really be helpful for me. So obviously I'll encourage everyone to go there. So before we call it call it a day, but I want to ask you one very very important question. The reason I didn't ask you much about those is because I believe we should go beyond that. But you being a female, a successful female in the Arab world, Asian women, young Asian women, young South American women, or Arab women who want to do something on their own, or maybe just be successful in their career. What advice do you give them? The women who are actually jumping into this market.
Sure. I will tell you first why I feel that I can give that advice. In all humility, not because I'm the expert. First, I can only share my experience, but because among many things, many activities that I've been engaged in outside of work, is running spaces, what I call safe spaces for women. Whether it's a mentoring initiative that I was part of that was called The Link, where we were matching senior career women with younger women or graduates, fresh graduates, to help them guide them through their career at the entry level, or through the other spaces where we used to meet monthly and just share our challenges at the workplace, listening to from a 22 years old fresh graduate to a 50 plus board member. We had that whole diversity, and because we are in Dubai, we have that diversity also of ethnicity. So it was very very diverse, very rich, and listening to those experiences and those stories for years, the conclusion that I came up with is sometimes we're our own enemy. And I say that with full accountability as a woman myself. Sometimes we're our own enemies because we keep telling ourselves that I'm a woman, that's why I'm not going to succeed. And we keep saying that, and then we act accordingly. We don't take that bold step of saying, no, why do I have to think about myself as a female leader or a female entrepreneur? We don't say male entrepreneur. Why do we have to keep saying female entrepreneur, and then we put ourselves as a minority? So first thing that I learned for myself and through others is, let's ditch that word female. You're just an individual. Think of yourself as a talent, as an individual who has aspirations, because once we start acting that way, then everything follows. But if we keep putting ourselves in, well, I'm a woman, women entrepreneur, female entrepreneurs, then we are encouraging everyone to treat us as a minority. So when I work with younger women, this is the first thing that I tell. Stop saying yes, you're a woman, you should be proud of the gender that you are. But when it comes to work, you're just a talent, you're just an entrepreneur who has an idea, and you approach things that way, and then you will educate yourself to treat you as such. That's Don't treat me as as far as work. I have my degrees or I have my capabilities. And also, what I want to advise everyone is that actually, I say that the future is for feminine leadership. I'm not saying female, I'm saying feminine. Why I'm saying that? Because the feminine attributes, there is masculine and feminine attributes. And psychology says that feminine attributes are known as things that come to us as
Naturally.
innate, naturally.
Yeah.
Some men might have it. I'm talking about listening. We're better listeners. We are risk averse. We empathize with others. We hold space because we're very nurturing. And these are the new attributes that are needed at the new workplace, in the new landscape of business. We were leading with the masculine model for too long. Things have changed when I talked about volatility and certainty and all of that. So we need to start leading with a different model. And that model happens that it calls for these attributes that come naturally into women. So what I advise women, you don't have to think that, oh, I have to be really tough and rough for people to take me seriously. And then you convert yourself into becoming and into tapping into the masculine side, and you lose yourself. And that's what we see. And I saw so many women really, yes, you see them successful on the outside, but in the inside, because they're not leading authentically with their feminine attributes, they feel that they burn out, and they're trying to be somebody who they're not. So it's really about feeling proud and confident, and knowing that vulnerability, for example, is a skill today. It's something positive to have, because when you're vulnerable means that you are humble, means that you admit your mistakes, which means people will trust you more, rather than someone who says, I know it all, I'm the leader, I'm the boss, I know it all. So vulnerability is actually called for today and the business landscape, and we teach that in our leadership programs. So, ladies, girls, young women, embrace who you are authentically, learn, and if you have ideas, go for it. Be bold, be courageous, but don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything just because you're a woman. Trust me
What a,
on that.
what a wonderful way to put this, Hannah. I mean, I could not agree more with you. I mean, even if I'm a masculine person, but I believe this is the right mindset for any gender to succeed. To go beyond the gender complex and accept as a corporate marketer. Even when I go for trainings and I have females in my, sessions, I always tell them that once you jump into the corporate environment, forget that you're a female. Take it head on. Just forget the patriotic issues that has been going on in the society. Forget that. Unless you do that, you won't be able to overcome that. So what a wonderful way for you to put that ahead. And before we end this, Hannah, you came to Pakistan.
I
Any
did.
particular experience that you would like to share with because Pakistanis are full of emotions, sentiments. If you have some good or bad experience, you do share something that you took as a memory with you. Please do share that with us.
I loved it. I mean, it was an adventure. It was just I was called to go visit that wonderful country. And again, and I shared with you the blog I wrote about that. There were so many learnings for entrepreneurs, and I urge everyone to read it, because everything I saw there, I could link it to my journey as an entrepreneur. First thing, for example, when I talked about make your own opinion and don't go with assumptions, because when I was leaving and I told people I'm going to Pakistan, we're like, "Oh my God, you're a woman, you're going to Pakistan," and I said, "Why are you saying that? Have you been there?" You're basing your judgment on few articles or few opinions. So first thing, we need to challenge our assumptions. If I didn't have that bold idea and the courage to say, no, I'm going to go and see it for myself, I would have missed out on such a beautiful country, beautiful landscape, beautiful people, very warm, very hospitable. Everything was like, it was an immersive experience covering the five senses, and I really can't wait to go back. I would love to be back. It's amazing.
I can't believe that. I can't tell you how happy I am to hear this. And as on behalf of Pakistan, we thank you for coming, and we also welcome you again for coming and come and enjoy the beauty of landscapes and the culture and the people as well. So Hannah, thank you again for being with us here today, and to the viewers. If you are someone who's going to go to the UAE market and want to settle there, and I think Hannah is one of the wonderful persons that you can get in touch with. The links to Hannah's websites are already shared in the description. Reach out to them, and in case you are unable to get in touch with me. I'll try to fix up a time for you with Hannah. And thank you again, Hannah, for being with us. And we might bug you again in the future. And once again, welcome to Pakistan again.
Shukriya. You see, I'm happy to do that, because I believe that sharing knowledge is a superpower. So if they say knowledge is a power, sharing knowledge is a superpower, and I think it's our responsibility to try to, when our time in this life is over, that we strive to not take anything with us that we haven't shared with others. At least that's what I believe, and I hope I can do that in this lifetime. So thank you.
Totally agreed. So viewers, thank you so much, and we'll be back another again with another episode. See you again soon, inshallah.